Hello everyone, the story I'm going to share today is The Returning Pearl. A long time ago, there was a poor scholar living at the foot of Phoenix Mountain. His name was Shanmin. Shanmin's father died when he was a child, so the family relied on his mother's spinning and weaving for other people. Shanmin was very smart and liked to read the Analects of Confucius, writing excellent papers on them as well. The imperial examinations were coming up this year, so his mother prepared a feast to send him to the capital. Before he left, his mother said, "Dear son, you are going to attend the imperial examinations. If you pass it, come back home as early as possible." Shanmin left his mother with tears in his eyes and was on the way to the capital. One day, he came to the intersections of 3 roads near Rooster Ridges, where there was a big tree. He rested under the tree and spotted a parcel in the grass. Picking it up, he found that it was wrapped tightly. He opened it layer by layer and discovered the innermost layer was covered by yellow satin wrapped around a box. He opened the wooden box with a dragon carving on the top and the inscribed words of "Granted by the Emperor." Inside was a shining pearl. He thought, "My goodness, this pearl is an unusual item. It must be a rare treasure in this world. The person who lost it must be feeling very anxious. I should stay here to wait for the owner. But wouldn't that delay my travel plan? Still, I can't just think of myself. What if the owner got into big trouble, or even has his life in danger because he lost this pearl? I better wait for him here." Then he rewrapped the parcel and waited for the owner. He waited and waited until sunset. There was still no sign of people looking for it. It was about evening time. He got even worried because that place was a remote area without even a motel around. He slept under the tree for a night. The next day, he still kept watching. Although a few people passed him, none of them was looking for a parcel. The examination date was getting closer as well, which meant he had to leave now if he wanted to take it on time. Otherwise, he would have to wait 3 more years for the next round of examination. But I would feel uncomfortable if I forget about the person who lost the pearl. After more thought, he finally decided to settle down and wait patiently. Once again, evening fell before a man on horseback came over with worried expressions on his face. He saw Shanmin and asked, "Kind brother, have you picked up anything?" "What kind of thing?" Shanmin asked. "A pearl granted by former emperor," the man replied. Shanmin heard the answer loud and clear and didn't think the man looked like a villain. So he sighed as he handed over the package. "I have been waiting here 2 days and 2 nights for its owner to come back." The man opened the box and saw the pearl still intact and fell to his knees in front of Shanmin. A good man, your kindness is more valuable than Montai." Confused Shanmin helped the man to his feet. "You are too much. It belongs to you to begin with, so of course it should be returned to you as well." The man was so moved that he handed over some silver as thanks. But Shanmin refused the money. Instead, he hurried his way to the capital. But he had already missed the examination by the time he arrived. With nowhere to go, Shanmin settled down at a motel. He wrote a letter to his mother and set out a booth selling his skills as a copyright to support himself while waiting for the next examinations in 3 years. 2 years later, the imperial court was getting rid of bad officials and looking for replacements. The Ministry of Human Resources recommended Shanmin to the emperor. After passing the qualifying exam, Shanmin was granted a position as the head of Phoenix County. The minister was very happy and gave him a rich banquet before sending him off to his post. He also added, "You are going to Phoenix County, so please do me a favor." Shanmin said, "You've helped me a lot, so I will definitely fulfill your request." The minister said, "In Phoenix County, there is a three-way intersection at Rooster Ridge, where a big tree grows. Please help me build a pavilion there." Shanmin found this strange and asked, "I do not understand. What is the pavilion for?" The minister replied, "It's a long story. 2 years ago, the corrupt minister in the imperial court said I secretly hide national treasure pearl at home. So I asked my son to go home and get it to show His Majesty that it was a gift from the former emperor. Unfortunately, my son lost it on his way to the capital. Leaving aside the fact that it was valuable treasure, that pearl held the lives of my entire family at stake. Fortunately, a good man found the pearl and waited under the tree for 2 days and 2 nights until my son returned. He refused all the gifts of thanks and did not leave his name and address. Even now, I still remember the place where my son lost the pearl. So you must help me to build a pavilion with a monument inside to recognize his efforts." Shanmin heard it and sighed lightly. "This is not a big deal. I don't think it's a good idea to spend extra money constructing a pavilion. It's only reasonable to return lost items to their owners." The minister grew incensed and said, "What you said is something inhuman. You have to know that the pearl was a national treasure. You are not only going to help build up the pavilion, but your best to find that man." Shanmin saw the minister was determined to have his way, so he gave his word that he would. A year later, the minister and his son returned to their hometown to worship their ancestors. On their way home, they passed the Rooster Ridges, but saw no pavilion built at the intersection. The minister was very unhappy when Shanmin came to meet him and angrily blamed the man. "Why didn't you treat my word seriously? Let me tell you, I asked you to search for the person. Did you do it?" Shanmin wanted to speak up but didn't know what to say. The minister saw that Shanmin was in an awkward situation and did not say anything. Then he started to blame his son. "You're too careless. Losing the pearl was already a big mistake, but you didn't even ask for that person's name. What a naive child." Shanmin felt embarrassed and raised his head to look at the son. At the same time, the boy saw him. Then suddenly the son said, "Father, he..." The father replied, "Yes, he is your brother." The son said, "No." He looked at the right earlobe of Shanmin before leaping to his feet. "Father, he is the person that picked up the pearl." Oh, the minister was too excited to say anything. Shanmin smiled and said, "Don't pick the wrong person." The son said, "No, there is no mistake. I still remember when you returned the pearl to me, that there was a birthmark on your right earlobe." The minister hastily took Shanmin by the hands and said, "My great benefactor, At first, I thought you were arrogant and nearly wronged you. I never expected you to be such a man of high morals. Later, the minister asked his son to recruit local craftsmen to build a beautiful pavilion at Rooster Ridge and named it Returning Pro. A monument was erected there that detailed the entire story of the pro. Thank you very much for listening to the story. More touching stories will be ready for you if you just subscribe it. Thank you again.